Hi everyone. I'm going to talk about a valuable resource in our community called the West Virginia Division of Rehab Services that helps people with disabilities gain and maintain employment. The West Virginia Division of Rehab Services is a division of the West Virginia Department of Education and the Arts and is the state agency responsible for the operation of the state and federal vocational rehabilitation program in West Virginia. DRS specializes in providing services that enable and empower people with disabilities to work and live. In West Virginia, the starting points for services are the 30 field offices the agency has throughout the state. There are 6 district offices in West Virginia located in Beckley, Charleston, Clarksburg, Huntington, Martinsburg, and Wheeling. The Morgantown branch office, overseen by the Clarksburg district office, serves the needs of people with disabilities. The Rehab Services Administration, or the RSA, was established by Congress as the principal federal agency authorized to carry out Titles 1, 3, 6, and 7, as well as specified portions of Title 5 of the Rehab Act of 1973, as amended. The RSA's major Title I formula grant program provides funds to state vocational rehabilitation agencies to provide employment-related services for individuals with disabilities. Funds are distributed to states based on a formula that takes into account population and per capita income to cover the cost of direct services and program administration. Grant funds are administered under an approved state plan by VR agencies designated by each state. The state matching requirement is 21.3%, and the state share is 50% for the cost of construction of a facility for community rehab programs. DRS employs approximately 143 vocational rehab counselors in the state of West Virginia who work directly with individuals with disabilities throughout the VR process. Counselors receive specialized and extensive training, which requires a master's degree in rehab counseling or a related field. Each of the 30 field offices across West Virginia has a branch office supervisor who, in addition to providing leadership and guidance to employees, takes a leadership role in developing partnerships with area employers, workforce centers, schools, and other public and private service agencies within the community. A district manager provides oversight for the individual branch offices located within each of the 6 districts. Other DRS employees include a rehab services associate who functions as a paraprofessional in providing assistance to counseling and supervisory staff at each field office location. Office assistants provide clerical support to counseling and supervisory staff at each field office location. Employment specialists travel among the individual branch offices within a district to coordinate job development and placement activities and serve as the primary contact and liaison with all major employers in the community. Quality assurance specialists work in each DRS district and as a team to develop client services policy, review casework practices, assure consistent interpretation of policy throughout the state, and provide training on policy. DRS serves individuals with disabilities. DRS clients meet the following criteria. 1. A physical or mental impairment that interferes with the individual's ability to prepare for, enter into, engage in, advance in, and/or retain employment consistent with that individual's abilities and capabilities. 2. The individual can benefit from VR services for employment, and 3. The individual requires VR services for employment. VR services are tailored to meet the individual needs of each client and may include evaluation and assessment, counseling and guidance, job development and placement assistance, physical or mental restoration, vocational training and college assistance, and assistive tech. Transition services are provided for students and youth with disabilities between the ages of 14 and 24. Transition services are provided to assist high school students with making the transition from school to post-school work-related activities, including post-secondary education, vocational training, competitive integrated employment, supported employment, continuing and adult education, adult services, independent living, or community participation. The VR process begins with an application for services from DRS. The form is completed and an intake interview is conducted that outlines the applicant's medical, social, financial, educational, and vocational experiences. This is an opportunity for the counselor to begin to understand the applicant's abilities and interests so that both may strive to meet the applicant's VR needs. Once an application is submitted, an eligibility determination is made within 60 days, barring any exceptional and unforeseen circumstances that would require extended assessment. Rehab counselors make a final determination of eligibility based on observations during the intake interview and formal documentation such as medical records and psychological reports that provide a specific diagnosis as well as evidence of the applicant's disability and resulting functional limitations. Further assessment of the applicant's employment barriers is conducted when necessary to establish eligibility for services. Order of selection procedures apply in the case that a state lacks the funding to serve all eligible individuals. In this case, priority must be given to individuals with the most significant disabilities. Individuals who have been determined eligible for Social Security benefits are presumed eligible for VR services and considered an individual with a most significant disability. Once an individual is found eligible, an IPE or IPET for transition clients is developed and implemented in a timely manner. An IPE is defined as a written agreement between the client and the counselor on how to reach the client's vocational goal. During this process, counselors and clients work as a team to develop a plan that is based on an individualized determination of the unique strengths, needs, and interests of the client and formulation of an appropriate, achievable vocational goal. VR services are determined and provided on a case-by-case basis according to the vocational goal stated and agreed upon by the client following informed consent. Once an IPE is developed, VR counselors are responsible for facilitating, arranging, coordinating, and monitoring the timely delivery of services included in the client's IPE. Once clients receive services and are able to secure employment that fits their needs and abilities, the counselor will provide follow-up services and communicate with the client for a period of at least 90 days to assure that no further services are required. If clients no longer require services after this period of time, they are considered successfully. Client cases are closed in one of the following statuses. Status 26, successful work for at least 90 days. Status 28, unsuccessful after IPE implementation. Status 8, not found eligible for VR services. Status 38, eligible but not designated as priority in the case of order of selection. and status 30, closure before the IPE. Case management and documentation are an essential and necessary part of a VR counselor's job. DRS case management activities are conducted on an electronic case management system known as IECM. VR counselors regularly enter case notes on IECM to update client files and detail client progress toward the attainment of a stated vocational goal. Case notes serve many functions and allow authorized DRS personnel, such as supervisors and upper management, to understand a client's VR program. Such information includes justification for the provision of VR services, other professionals and vendors in the client's rehab team, evidence that the counselor is following proper DRS procedures, and the client's level of involvement in the VR process, as well as any issues that may arise throughout the coordination and delivery of services that may impact the client's VR program. Counselors are required to document every interaction they have with or about clients. Case notes documenting personal contact are typically written following ADAPR format, which stands for Action, Details, Assessment, Plan, and Responsibility. Other required documentation includes, but is not limited to, initial diagnostic interview summaries, summaries of information received, eligibility summaries, justification of services authorized and implemented, as well as closure summaries. Individuals can locate their nearest DRS office and learn more about VR services online at wvdrs.org. Thanks for listening.